Auburn Conservation Corps Summer Camp recap by Counselor Terry Cuddy and Dr. Walt Aikman. Terry, Counselor?
Yes, I'll get this started. I made a video, and it's a tough act to follow that. I just want to say that they did such a great job. So I made a video, but before I show the video, I wanted to recognize, number one, my colleagues in making this possible, and one of the campers that are here. I invited the whole camp to come in, but first I'd like to introduce Caleb Bolha, who was a fellow teacher in the program, and Dr. Walt Aikman, who also was really the main force in the content, developing the curriculum for the students. And we have Jackson DeForest. You want to stand up, Jackson? And you'll see Jackson featured in the video quite often in this video. But I'll be happy to field questions afterwards, and you know, and we'll go from here.
The 2023 Auburn Conservation Corps Summer Camp ran from July 17th through July 20th. It is a pilot program, and this was its inaugural year. The camp included 8 campers and was conducted by Dr. Walt Aikman and 2 public school teachers, Caleb Bolha and myself, Terry Cuddy. We were assisted by University of Rochester student Gracie Giannantino. Day 1. The camp commenced at Kiva Andagoposis with basic introductions. Once everyone was introduced to one another, the first part of the morning consisted of safety training and why visibility and protective gear are important. In the second part of the morning, the campers did some field work. In front of the BOCES campus, the campers learned 2 ways to measure the tree canopy of a given area. One method used a tape measure, stakes, flags, and a lot of math. The other way used a spherical densiometer with some math as well. Once this was accomplished, the campers returned inside to receive training on the Pocket Lab data sensors and the corresponding mobile devices. These would later record and map the urban heat island effect throughout the neighborhoods of Auburn. After we learned how to use this technology, the campers were transported to the Clark Street Firehouse. First, they learned how to identify vegetation like poison ivy and some New York State regulated invasive plants. Then they were given an exercise to complete an urban tree site assessment and learn about underground utilities that need to be considered before planting urban forests. During the latter part of the afternoon, campers utilized their data sensors to measure the heat of the neighborhoods near the Clark Street Firehouse. Day 2. Campers learned about protection and care of trees in the urban forest, starting at the Wadsworth property on the northwest side of Auburn. Campers were reintroduced to site safety, shrub management, and tree measurement. Here they again identified poison ivy and saw a redwood tree growing on the Wadsworth property. Later in the morning, there was a demonstration of advanced tree work by Auburn DPW workers at Casey Park. Campers witnessed the removal of a tree destroyed by an invasive species called the emerald ash borer. In the early afternoon of day 2, the City of Auburn's tree specialist, Rich Siemens, helped us to plant a tree properly on the grounds of Casey Park. Later, Allie Berry, an inspector from the Owasco Lake Watershed Inspection and Protection Division, did a drone demonstration. Drones can be used to assess urban forests and assist with watershed land conservation and protection. After both of these demonstrations, we continue to collect temperature data at Casey Park. Day 3, we started at the North Street Cemetery to learn ways to manage invasive tree species and continue our temperature data collection in the urban forest. Dr. Aikman demonstrated how to identify and control invasive tree species using a mechanical method. Nearby at the Willard Chapel, the campers rested under the bur oak tree on the former Auburn Theological Seminary campus to hear about the Willard Chapel from the staff. We then went to the heart of downtown Auburn to collect temperature readings there. The campers collected more data at Hoops Park and throughout adjacent neighborhoods. We ended day 3 behind Herman Ave School, where there was a large patch of the highly invasive plant species called Japanese knotweed. Day 4, the fourth and final day of the Auburn Conservation Corps summer camp, was started on the west side of the Mill Street Dam and later moved to the east side. We continued to collect temperature readings throughout the morning. Dr. Aikman then demonstrated the various ways to manage invasive shrub species. In the afternoon, we were greeted by Councilor Giantino before going to collect more temperature readings on our way to the urban wetland on the arterial west corridor between Washington and McMaster Streets. This concludes the recap of the inaugural year of the Auburn Conservation Corps Summer Camp. Any questions? Yes.
Can you tell us? It's wonderful video.
Oh, great! Thank you.
Did anybody get college credit for that? Because it looked like
it was pretty intense. So they didn't get college credit, but some of the campers were members of the National Honor Society. So they did get certificates talking about the hours of work that they did. So some of the work that they did besides planting trees was data collection for what Dr. Aikman will compile and use for information as to where we would want to plant more trees throughout the city. So they did receive a certificate that detailed the amount of hours that they spent helping the city collect that data and learn about the urban tree forest.
So I'd like to help next year.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Can you just explain? You referenced next year level 2. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Students. So Caleb Boha and Walt Aikman and myself, as we stated, this is a pilot program. So we're still going to keep it a week long, but maybe have 2 sessions. One for the younger campers, because we felt like some of the content might have been a little too advanced for some of the younger students, And as you had seen in one of the comments, some of the other campers felt that the content really was geared towards them. So I felt we did a really good job in creating a curriculum that did meet diverse audiences, but we did see value in having perhaps 2 levels next year, and we brought that up to campers. And in the exit survey, we asked if we were going to do another year, would they want to be involved in a second year? So, you know, that's something we would like to consider next year. But having it still be 1 week, but like for beginners and for you know, maybe some campers that are a little bit older and do some of those more sophisticated, you know, mathematics. There was a lot of math involved in some of them. So it was very. I learned a lot too.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It's a great program. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Anything else?
Is Dr. Aikman?
Did you want to add anything, Dr. Aikman or Mr. Ball? Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
So part of the goal here too is to partner hopefully with the Auburn and Large City School District to help fulfill. New York State has come out with kind of an additional thing that can be added to students' diplomas called the Seal of Civic Readiness. And the goal here is to help use this program to get students to receive that Seal of Civic Readiness. Myself and Jeff Alberisi at the junior high are working on a program together to try and get students there. So this is a wonderful program to try and get students involved in the community and to understand the importance of environmentalism in our own backyard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. And Jackson, thank you for helping Auburn out by joining this camp, and you know, maybe we'll see you next year. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could just add,
Sure.
I know it was in the video there, but in addition to the support of the members of council and the city of Auburn, this program benefited from a grant received from the Emerson Foundation,
Yes.
which was coordinated through the Auburn Beautification Commission. And there's a couple of Auburn Beautification Commission members with us tonight, Judy Bryant and Dr. Leah Weinberger here. And just wanted to thank them for their support of the program.
Yes, that was the last part of the video,
Yeah.
and I wanted to make sure that, thank you, clerk, for mentioning that. But yes, and at the end of the video, I wanted to make sure that, you know, there were partners as well in this project. And you know,
do you remember the amount of the grant? I think it was $2,500 grant from the Emerson Foundation.
3,000, yes, and that was for the technical equipment, the pocket lab, sensors that measured the heat data. So, great, thank you, thank you.
Counselors and everyone else, to me, this is great, the last 2 presentations, because they involve the youth, but it's homegrown. It's things that we've done. We haven't gone out, hired consultants or anyone. We have volunteers and adults from all different walks of life participating and trying to make things better. To me, that's as important as anything else. So I do want to commend all of you and say thank you for it. That was great. Was there any pickleball breaks or?
No pickleball
Nose
breaks.
to the stone, all right. All set, Counselor?
All set.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dyke.